Hi, I'm Luke Petruzzi. I'm an artist in San Francisco, California, and this is my submission to Loopop's 2021 Superbooth Mega Samples Contest. All the sounds in the song are from Loopop's Superbooth sample pack, except for my singing, which I recorded on this SM7B. The lyrics to the song are about contextualizing non-attachment and simplicity in life through a lens of reincarnation. So thinking of your life as one page of a really long story. If you have any questions about the lyrics or any of the production techniques that I use in the song, just put them in the comments and I'll answer them. I think this song will be released on streaming platforms probably the end of December or early January. And you can find any of my existing music under Luke Petruzzi on any platform. And here's the song. It is called Revolve.
It is cruel and playful. Lose yourself in love. Could be not to stay for. Still I feel this pull. Five-line phrases in my head. Kiss joy as it flies. Wonder how the story read since the current's dead. Wonder how the story read since the current's dead.
Okay, I tried so many things to get a screen recording going while I was capturing audio from my DAW, but for some reason it just kept CPU overloading. I think it's probably because this file is very big and there's a lot going on, so Reaper's already using a lot of resources, and then trying to record the screen, which is almost 4K, it's just too much for my Mac. So I'm I've got my audio interface going straight into my phone, and I'm just filming the computer screen. So what you were just watching was the mixing session of this song. I'm showing you the session that I was working in before I printed it all to audio. I'll show you what I did with all the samples, and yeah, let's start with the drums. So I have all of the samples that I wanted to use for the drums in Native Instruments battery instance. So if I solo the drums, if we just play the drums in the chorus, they sound like this. Which ones did I use? I've got a portal drum to be like the main kick, and then there's this other kick that I use like in the bridge. It's from Perkins samples. That's it without the filter. There's also some saturation compression on it. And then this sub bass that I also use in the bridge and the second verse. We have this snare, I think from Portal, and then this bigger snare that I use in the chorus. There's this sound, which without the filter is just this Godfather sound, but I also put a vocal filter on it, but I couldn't find a use for it in the song, so that's not used. Neither of these are used either. But I do drag in some other Godfather samples later on. I'll show you just onto the timeline. Same with these bloops, didn't use them. Or that fart, didn't use that. I did use this slidey thing because I really like to do slides into snares. So there's a little filter taking out low end. Yeah, I like to do slide into a snare, so it's like a whoop. So I do that like right here. And this is another drum section that's using the sub bass. And then the other main element of the percussion is this clock sound. Let me turn it up. So I don't know why, but I felt like I wanted a clock in this song to like feel like it's keeping time and have a little like a time theme element to it. So I built the clock from these samples here. Just dragged them onto the timeline from the browser here. I don't remember which samples they were, but you know, there they are. You can hear them. They're hi-hatty type of samples and rim shots. And so I wanted like a mechanical type of clock, so I put in like a little fade in, so it's kind of like, and then every other one of the samples I kind of pitched up or pitched down a little bit, so it's ticking like, and also did lower volume, higher, lower, so it sounds like this. And then with all together, it's like this. And I also did it sped up double time some sections. And with the drums, it sounds like this.
Could be not to stay for.
So that's that. I also did double timing in the chorus to kind of accentuate the call and response of the main vocal.
And I've been totally involved, not doing.
So sing low, can I be? It's lower, and then on the falsetto parts, totally involved, it's faster. It's also panned left when it's slow, panned right when it's fast.
And I've been totally involved, not doing anything at all. Is this real? That Lord is all when you're right here anyway. And I've been.
Oh yeah, I also liked when I dragged these random samples in to make the clock. I liked how they fell onto the timeline. Kind of like a little stuttery rhythm. And so I also added them like in this section. I literally just pulled it in. I pulled this one over slightly. So it's pretty much part of the rhythm. Turn this down again. And do it again. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny. Next, let's talk about the bass, because this is kind of just the order that I mix the song, so let's go in that order. The bass is this Loopop Hydrosynth soaring pad. So without the, I put a filter on it to take away all of the high end, but by itself it's like this. And with the filter, it also had I also put a saturator on it to beef it. I think that sounds nice and crunchy. And then I also pulled down, okay, so the effects I used were almost all FabFilter and also a couple of ozone effects, and then this ducking effect, but you could just use a compressor. I know the description of the contest said to try to use built-in plugins, but Reaper doesn't have built-in plugins that I love to use, and I kind of have a workflow that I like, so I'm just doing it. But the use of this imager was to take everything below 100 hertz, kind of put it in mono. Almost, not quite. But there's a lot of stereo information in this, so I also pulled the width down, everything above 100 hertz as well, so that it would be not all over the place as a bass element. So you can see here it's kind of still stereo, but you know, not too wide. And I'm also sidechaining it to the kick, so you can hear that. You can hear that movement there. Next, we can talk about the, oh yeah, let's talk about this main element here. The accordion brass-like. Accordion-like brass-like. That is the Loopop Nymphos 2 with some reverb. Oh, in some sections I have a delay on it. To make it feel more closed, and always I'm taking away some high end. And then in the chorus, I'm doing that same accordion sound with a slightly different reverb, but an octave up. And I think I'm filtering it differently too. more of the high end sounds like it's gone. Yeah. And then this FM piano feel airy is echoing the low chorus. So it's like, can I be? Bim, 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 is what that's playing. I just took away some of the low end and didn't do anything, but it's the Hydrosynth piano pad. So it sounds like this. It's a pretty sound. And if you listen to it with the low vocal, and it's
Can I be not doing? Is this real?
Yeah, so it's just kind of adding to that. The other main element of the chorus is this big spread out recorded, nice higher pad, I called it. So that's ducking to the kick as well, has a little saturation and EQ out at the low end, but it's the Loopop Hydrosynth 2, and it sounds like this without the duck. That saturator's giving it a lot of nice buzz. And then I love this, and you can tell that I love it because I called it gorgeous, short, saw, brassy, harsh. So that sounds like this. Oh, I'll tell you what it is. It's the Wait For It Nymphos with the low end taken out, and it's also ducked to the kick. I think that's really pretty. And so that's pretty much driving the chorus. I'll solo it with it's kind of a bassy sound to begin with, and I took out all the bass because I think it sits well with the bass. I wrote this like little progression thing first, and then I had the bass match it, and that's just kind of what's driving the chorus. And then all those elements together sound like this. So that's fun and exciting. The next part that I will talk about is there any other? Oh yeah, so there's this big, this is kind of like the main.
I won't cling 10,000 things. I won't.
This spread out pad. It's like all unsteady, and that is, it has this timeless on it, and Nymphos Spreadum, it's called. What it is it's just playing the sample over and over, and it's like on an octave, and I put an LFO on the tuning, so it's kind of like unsteady feeling. And then I bandpassed it. And then I also added a delay that is modulated so that it's even more unsteady feeling and very spacey. So here it is with and without it. It really makes it stereo feeling. And then I saturated it a little bit. to give it a little more presence. And is that it? Oh, also, this is just, what is this? Oh, FM piano. So this is this FM piano feel that we already talked about, the piano pad hydrosynth. It's another MIDI thing, but it's already bounced here. And it part of the build.
I won't cling 10,000 things. I won't cling.
Sweet. So that is all of the MIDI. So I'm going to switch over now to the mixing project that has everything bounced down and is a lot more fleshed out. Now this is the mixing session. You can see all of those instruments that we talked about are bounced down to audio. And so are all of the drums. And there's a lot of chops and stuff because I repositioned a lot of them once I started mixing and really adding ear candies. And I did a lot more in the mixing session than I had when everything was still in MIDI. So I also dragged in a lot more samples, like these fade-ins. Why don't I go over those first? So all the things that changed. In the intro, I added this Quasar slow rotation Heinbach, and just one of them by itself was very heavy in just the right channel, and I'll turn it up so we can hear it. Very right side heavy, so I duplicated it, and you can see here I took the width knob down 100%. This one's 100%, so this one has the right side on the left, and then I staggered them so that it would be always something happening in both ears, more loudly. So I brought that back in the bridge, but we'll get to that. This bung synth buchla are these buchla samples pitched way up, pitched an octave or 9 semitones respectively, but they're these samples with a lot of reverb. Let me remove the reverb here, and I'll pitch it back down so that you can hear. So that's what it was to begin with, but it sounds like this. And I also EQ'd it a little bit to give it a little more high end and a little less mud. So that's that. I also have this reverse snare. It's another instance of me doing that, but this one it's a 6 mod 6 sample. It's reversed. If I unreverse it and take the reverb off. Did I take the reverb off? Not that one. Yeah. So that's what it is, but if you reverse it, that's that. I do that a lot. You can see throughout the song. It happens a bunch of times. What's the automation? Oh yeah, on these on the Buchla synth, I was panning them left and right as well. And I also in the intro have little bits of my vocal, so I'll turn these up so you can hear them. But they're just little bits of vocal in the background that are compressed and bandpassed in the low end. Lots of reverb. You can barely hear them. But this is in the context. Yeah, so that's just building more atmosphere in the intro. And I also have this tape hiss, turn it up, going in the background, and that comes in at a lot of places in the song, just to fill it out a little bit. What's this? This is I opened the filter on the Quasar a little bit. If we look, just to bring it out even more at the start. Turn that back down. Okay. Other things that I brought in. I also have duplicated the tape hiss, but for white noise in the chorus, and I just wanted white noise up at the top, and I'm also ducking it to the kick, so it sounds like this. Just to fill out the high end even more.
Can I be totally involved? Not doing anything at all. Is this real? That'll all dissolve when you're right here.
The discerning ear. Can you hear that? What's this? Oh yeah, here's those Godfather samples that I was talking about that I brought in. So I use these for transitions a lot. Pan them in different places, and also shoot up the reverb send on them. Reaper is so good. Like, look at this. There are these automation items where you copy them, and then any change you make to one of them will affect all of them if you want them to work that way, which is so useful for things like this. And another transition is this Godfather reverse high. So it's a reverse Godfather sample. And I think that is drastically pitched. Yeah, it's pitched up 2 octaves and reversed. So it usually sounds like this. But without the reverb. And I'm also taking out a lot of the low end. And then these are just Heinbach noise samples that I use for like risers and falls. I pitched them down because they were just way too bright, and then I also took out this too bright for what I was doing. Pitched up at normal pitch, they were like this, and that just sounded too heavy electronic for what I wanted. And then there's also this splash. Just another Zoom 2 something sample from that library with a lot of reverb on it. that I use in more transitions. One of those is like right here.
Can I be totally involved? Not
Another one right here.
when you're right here anyway. Can I be totally?
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about the vocals. So it's just,
it is cruel and playful.
doesn't have to do with the samples for the contest, but usually I will do, I'll take out some of the mud because I have kind of a resonant voice, and then I will de-ess, I will compress heavily and then compress a little lighter, sometimes saturate, and sometimes do multi-band parallel compression with this Shep's parallel particles. I really like that plugin. It's a really easy way to dial in parallel compression.
It is cruel and playful.
Parallel multi-band compression. And then we didn't talk about, here's all my sends. It's mostly different reverbs for different purposes. Here's the vocal reverb. I compress the input a little bit so that the reverb is more uniformly applied. So you can...
It is cruel and playful.
Soloing the reverb.
Lose yourself in love.
Just kidding. Soloing the reverb. I like to have a longer fall in the low. Like a longer fall in the low end, but EQing out some of that, the low end. So it's like you can hear that it takes longer, but it's not as loud in the low end. And I do that a lot on vocal reverbs because I don't want to muddy up the mix, but I like the sound of like a darker, lower sounding reverb.
It is cruel and playful. Lose yourself in love.
And then in the pre-chorus, I am doing some interesting things with the effects to make it. So first of all, I'm band passing this, and the band opens as, it opens this way. So I add more low end on my voice slightly as the pre-chorus continues. And I'm de-essing, I'm compressing, I'm doing some parallel multiband compression, and then I put on this Fab Filter Timeless, and it's at 100%. Oh wait, no, it's 50% mix, so it's adding a lot of space to it.
I won't cling.
So without that,
10,000 things. I won't
and then with it,
10,000 things.
so it gives it kind of a spacier feel.
I won't cling. 10,000 things.
Then I saturate that
I won't cling.
to give it more presence.
10,000 things.
And then compress all of that together so that the timeless, like so that the delay glues in with the with the vocal even more.
I won't cling. 10,000 things.
Yeah. So there I'm singing in falsetto like, I won't cling. And then I also sing it lower here. I won't cling. And that sounds like this.
I won't cling. 10,000 things.
And together.
I won't cling. 10,000 things.
And I did some automation on cling because I wanted to bring it out.
I won't cling.
Because the synths are building up and it kind of got lost. And that's a pre-compressor volume so that I can really give it presence. Without that, it sounds like this. And then with it, just to really bring out that word, I do that a lot. Let's see, I do that in the whole chorus for the high vocals. So let's talk about the chorus. And some of the low vocals. I do some pre-compressor automation.
And I be not doing.
So these are me singing the same thing, 2 different takes.
And I be
panned about 20% left and right. And then I also sang into a vocoder.
And I be not doing. Is this real?
I like that breathy release.
Can I be?
And then mixed in with these.
And I be not doing.
Gives it a more interesting flavor than I'll play it without the vocoder, actually. So without the vocoder, it sounds like this.
And I be not doing.
And then with it.
And I be not doing.
Gives it more interesting feel than the high totally involved. That is, so I did one straight down the middle of like me just really belting.
Totally involved. Anything at all. That'll all dissolve when you're right here anyway.
And then so that's like singing in my head voice or in my chest voice. And then I sang falsetto 2 different takes. Here's the left one.
Totally involved. Anything at all.
And the right one with it.
That'll all dissolve when you're right here anyway.
And then mixing that in with the one down the center, it sounds really wide and strong.
Totally involved. Anything at all. That'll all dissolve when you're right here anyway.
And am I doing anything interesting? I added a little bit more high end at the end after compressing. So that's a little different than before. I also did some more drastic EQing to begin with. And then on the low vocals, also added a little more high end. Did some more compression after parallel multiband compression, and then took out a lot of 3.5 decibels of the mud because I'm singing lower down so that those resonant frequencies are louder in my voice, so I took them out. I can show
And I be not doing.
without.
Is this real? And I be.
It sounds better and less thin, not in the mix, but in the mix it sounds too heavy when I don't take that out.
And I be totally involved, not doing anything.
Without it.
And I be totally involved, not doing anything at all. Is this real?
So that, yeah, it cleans up the mix a little bit. And then I think I didn't end up using these. Yeah, this is turned all the way down. This was gonna be an echo of this. I will turn it up so you can hear what I was gonna do.
Totally involved, anything at all.
Kind of just like a one-hit delay, and I've done that before on other songs, but here it just kind of, there's already vocals like the whole time in the chorus, and it was singing the delay at the same time as the low vocal it just got a little messy. So got rid of that. And then the bridge vocal samples are in the first part of them. So these vocal samples in the bridge are just little chops that I took from the chorus vocal. And then the first half of the bridge, they're EQ'd, bandpassed. And then the second half, they are not. And compressed really heavily. Not really, but very. In the mix, that sounds like this.
5-line phrases in my head.
Cool beans, cool beans. And then at the end with the vocals, I did end up using those echoes, but just kind of to fill out. I used them on a different channel. C high echo ending, chorus high echo ending. And then I took the first 2 lines of the first verse and the last 2 lines of the second verse and put those over all the chorus instrumental and drum elements. And then I also just did the exact same vocal samples from the bridge, but I muted a few of them when the verse was going. And altogether those... Oh, I also sidechained them to the drum, the kick drum a little bit, so that it was a little pulsy with the mix, because I think that sounds good. So soloed together, they sound like this.
It is cruel and playful.
It's really...
Lose yourself in love.
really sidechained. Turned it off.
Wonder how the story read since the curtain's dead.
And I panned those vocal chops a little to the left. Oh yeah, another cute little sound is this dope fur sample that I enter the pre-choruses with. Let's see what it originally was. So originally this sample was... it's pitched up 12, sent to a lot of reverb, but if I turn off the effects, it was that sample. It's still on the reverb, but and then I also took out some of the high end and saturated it. I just wanted I wanted something that would signal the entrance of the pre-chorus. And then it kind of gets led in by a bounce of the reverb tail that it has. Oh, also an interesting thing. The pre-chorus was sounding very barren, so I did a bounce of all of the synths in the chorus, and then I reversed them and pitched them up 12 semitones, so it sounds like this. And sent them to a lot of reverb. Let me turn off the reverb. And not reversed, it sounds like this. and not pitched up, it sounds like this. But then pitch them up, reverse them, and then build it up with the reverb. And so that sounds like this. Oh, that's why it's so loud. I don't remember where this was. I'll mix it right now.
10,000 things I won't cling. 10,000 things I won't cling. 10,000 things I won't cling. 10,000 things. Can I be totally involved? Not doing anything at all. Is this real? That'll all dissolve when you're right here anyway. Can I be totally involved? Not doing anything at all. Will I hear if we didn't?
And yeah, the rest that I'm not covering is just automation of filters, like this close of the synths.
If we didn't fall, the wheel that we are on won't revolve.
So little automation things like that. Automation on panning. At the very end of the song, I send the bass to some reverb as I'm fading it out. So it feels like it goes out into space a little bit. So that's the song. That's how I made it. Those are some of the mixing decisions that I made and how I used all the samples. So I hope you enjoyed that and maybe liked seeing my workflow and compare it to how you work. And I always think that's interesting to like see how other people work, and some of the other videos for this contest are so awesome and insightful, and I'm learning things as I watch them. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this. The song is called Revolve, and it will be out everywhere on streaming services, probably December, January. And if you search Luke Petruzzi on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever, you'll find me. And yeah, if you want to support me in any way, the biggest thing you can do is follow me on Spotify. Just like hit follow, listen to my music. 'Cause I love making music. I love to sing. I love learning synthesis and electronic techniques, learning mixing, learning the DAW, learning different drum machines and synthesizers. It's just so much fun. And I also love sharing the music that I make with other people, hearing their music. It's just such an awesome thing. Any questions you have or comments about the song that you have in the comments. Yeah, I look forward to listening to the rest of the submissions to the contest as they come in the next couple days before it ends. Thank you so much for listening and watching.